So this session is everything you need to know to get your Facebook posting right, because it can feel sometimes when you're approaching any social media platform that there's a lot of different things that you can do, and can sometimes feel overwhelming. So this is a strategy that I've used with lots of different, not only food enterprises, but other types of businesses as well. And it's always given really good results, and it's really straightforward and easy to do. For those of you who came to the marketing session last week, I kind of mentioned the 4-2-1 strategy quite quickly. So in this session, we're going into it in a bit more detail and as a bit of a step-by-step. So this is very much kind of a beginner session, and I'll be doing a combination of slides and actually going into Facebook and showing you exactly how to do the things that I'm talking about. And again, if there are any questions or you need me to repeat anything, just feel free to unmute and ask me. So just what to expect in the session. I'm going to talk about the algorithm and how that works with the 4-2-1 posting strategy that I'm going to introduce. I'm then going to introduce the strategy, break it down into each of the sections, and then at the end we'll have time for Q&A. So first of all, I want to talk about why the 4-2-1 strategy works, or why you want to do a posting strategy rather than just kind of ad hoc posting every now and then, or maybe just not even thinking about being strategic with your Facebook posting. And the first reason is that Facebook controls what people see with an algorithm, and the algorithm that Facebook uses predicts how users will react to your posts and prioritizes posts which spark conversations and meaningful interactions between people. And what this means is that Facebook essentially controls, it doesn't really matter how, it's obviously quite complicated, but what we need to know is that Facebook controls what people see on Facebook. And it means that just because someone is following your page on Facebook, it doesn't mean that they're going to see everything that you post. Facebook essentially shows people some posts and not others. And the reasons why Facebook will show some things and not others is down to what Facebook sees as what is a meaningful post, or what is a post that people want to see. So to get on the right side of the Facebook algorithm, in other words, to make sure that when you do post a thing on Facebook, you've got the best chance for as many people as possible to see what you're actually posting, there's a couple of things that you want to avoid doing. And the first thing is don't engagement bait. And what I mean by that is whenever you post anything on Facebook, never ask, some of you probably don't do this, but just in case you've ever done this, but don't ask for someone to like your post, don't ask for anyone to comment. It's like avoiding asking people to engage with your post in an explicit way. So don't ask, like our post, don't ask, share our post, don't ask, please comment below, because it's categorized as engagement baiting, and that means that the algorithm will probably show your post to less people. Don't use any link shorteners. If you don't know what these are, then don't worry about it. But if you've ever tried to shorten a link on a post on Facebook, that can also get flagged as perhaps being risky for people who see the post. Don't share clickbait or fake news. Again, if you don't do that, that's fine, but just being careful about what you share. If it could be flagged as fake news, I mean, I know there's lots of things going on at the moment around COVID and vaccines, so it's probably not sharing any posts like this as a food enterprise, but it's just being really aware that being quite safe about what you post. Don't post anything that could be seen as being fake news, whether you agree with that or not. It just means that Facebook can limit how many people will be seeing your posts following that. And also don't only post when you want to sell something or broadcast something. So if you find yourself posting on Facebook, and if you look at all of your posts and you see that every single post is an order cycle open post, if you're on the Open Food Network, or if you see that every post is this week we have this thing that we want to sell to you, then that's something you should avoid doing. And through these slides, I'm going to talk to you about how you can avoid doing that and why. And also try not to share links that take people off of Facebook too often. So obviously you're going to have to do this when you are inviting people to go to your shopfront, but it just means that try not to do it in every post where you're taking someone off of Facebook. So what I mean by that is if when you're posting, every time you post, you have a link to your shop front, it just means that you're constantly taking people off of Facebook, and the Facebook algorithm will therefore not want to show as many people your posts, because they want people to stay on Facebook. So there's some things that you can do to perform better with the algorithm, and that's promote engagement whenever you post. So when you post, you can do this by asking a question, for example. So rather than asking people, please comment, you could always ask a question like in your post. So, you know, if you're sharing a post that's maybe a little bit political, or you could ask people, what do you think about this? So it's like anything that you can think of to try and start a conversation is a good thing. So essentially, the more people that like or comment or interact with your post, the better, like more people will see the post, because the algorithm kind of flags your post as being a post that's creating this engaging space, it's creating conversation, it's creating engagement on Facebook. And also, this kind of feeds into what I've just said, it's create meaningful and relevant content which promotes conversation. The other thing that you can do which will help you perform well with the algorithm, and this is part of the posting strategy that I'm going to introduce in a second, is to make sure that you're sharing other people's posts, particularly if they're relevant and engaging. So you want to make sure that you're sharing other people's posts, and that will help you to perform better with the algorithm. And make sure that you're replying and responding to people. So if anyone comments on a post that you've posted on Facebook, make sure that you reply to their comment. I mean, even if this looks like perhaps one day a week, you spend half an hour just checking the post that you've posted that week, seeing if anyone's commented, and then just replying to that comment, is just making sure that you set aside a little bit of time every week to make sure that you're responding to the people that have interacted with you on Facebook. This could also be if people are liking your posts. Your response to this could be inviting them to like the page, and I'll show you how to do this a bit later. And the final thing, which takes us into introducing the posting schedule, is to make sure you maintain a consistent posting schedule. So all of these things, algorithm do's and don'ts, I'm going to share the slides after, and they'll make a bit more sense after I've introduced the posting schedule. I just wanted to start with this just to give you an idea of the kind of things you do want to do and don't want to do on Facebook to get the best effect for what you're doing. Because you really want to be on the right side of the algorithm in order to get as many people to see what you're posting as possible. And that gives you the best possible chance for getting good results. And this strategy that I'm going to introduce now, which is the 4-2-1 posting strategy, is something that I've used with lots of different types of businesses, and it always works really well. So the first thing I want to do is tell you what it is. So the 4-2-1 posting schedules is essentially a modular type of posting schedule that you can use every week. So it's a way of posting one post a day in a week. So you could start with doing 7 posts a week. Of those 7 posts, 4 of the posts are a shared post, which means that you're sharing somebody else's post on Facebook. This works well with the algorithm because essentially you're being part of the Facebook community, you are engaging with other accounts, you become part of the conversation on Facebook rather than just a business broadcasting your information all the time. And that means that the algorithm sees your page as this interactive space that's part of the Facebook community, rather than just like essentially like a sales page, just broadcasting the information one way.
Kay, could I just ask something with this thing here? If we've been doing it wrong, which I'm sure I have been doing it wrong, how long will it take the algorithm to say, hey, that's a good guy, she's doing it right?
It happens really quickly. And what I'm going to do actually is after this slide, I'm going to show you what I've been doing with my partner's business, Upcycled Mushrooms. So I'm going to give you a case study and show you what's happened there. And I'll talk about that, the timeline of how long it will take to see a change. But yeah, it's quick. So it's not, it's something that's kind of, when you start making these changes, you will start to see improvements simply from the fact that you're posting more consistently. by sticking to this schedule of doing 7 posts a week, you'll get an instant result from posting consistently, because by posting consistently, the algorithm has a better idea, like it has more information about you to be able to kind of decide whether your posts are valuable or not, to show them to more people or not. So it's something that you'll see instantly. And I don't want to kind of confuse things by talking about the algorithm first, but essentially you'll see a result quite quickly. So just back to the 4-2-1 for a second. The 2 of the 4-2-1 is to share 2 of your own original posts per week, and the 1 of the 4-2-1 is 1 ask post. So essentially all it is then is posting 7 times a week. 4 of those posts are sharing other people's posts. 2 of those posts are posts that you create yourself, and 1 of those posts is an ask post, and I'll talk about each of these separately now. And also, this is modular. I just want to say here that if you find yourself with loads of, if you want to post more than 7 times a week, you could then double this and post 14 times a week, and then you'd post 8 shared posts, 4 original posts, and 2 ask posts per week. So it's something you can kind of stack depending on how much more you want to do, but you can just do this 7 posts a week and get really good results. And I'll show you an example now of something I've been working on with my partner recently, who didn't have a regular posting schedule, and I've been working with him to get better results with his Facebook. And I want to show you how we've done. And this is just with about 3 weeks of regular posting, 7 days. Well, he uses a scheduler, but 7 posts a week. And you can see here some of the results that we've seen. So with posting the 4-2-1, he's seen an increase of almost 200% in reach. And what I mean by reach is how many people have seen his posts. So so this is the thing that the algorithm kind of blocks. If the algorithm doesn't see your page as a page posting valuable content or posting regularly, it will stop showing your post to so many people. So what this shows is that the algorithm has then shown to 200% more people his posts. So every time he posts, he's got 200% more chance of more people seeing it, if that makes sense. His page views have gone up 28%, page likes have gone up 250%. And yeah, so you can see that there's been quite a good result on this. And this has been something that we've seen from the first week of doing this strategy ongoing. So the first week of doing the 4-2-1, we saw this kind of increase. And then the second week, we saw this again. And the third week, we've seen it again. So it's something that's been an ongoing positive response. Yeah, so I might come back to this page later as I'm talking about other things, but that's just to give you an idea of something that I've just created in the last 3 weeks in terms of better results. So yeah, if you start posting consistently from next week, you'll see better results.
Can I ask a question, Kay?
Yeah, sure.
When you actually share other people's posts, should they be relevant to what you're doing?
That's what I want to know too.
Yeah, definitely. So
I don't find very many that are relevant that I obviously have clicked with. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I've got some tips for this of how to get started with this, and it's this double thing. Like actually doing more shared posts is a lot easier than creating your own original content. It kind of takes the pressure off of always knowing what to say or what to do or having to find perfect images or video. It's like actually when you get more comfortable sharing others' posts, it makes social media a lot easier for you because you're not constantly have to create your own thing. And with the shared posts, it's something that also gets easier the more that you do it. Because the first couple of weeks of doing this, you might find it really hard to think of what to share. You might find it difficult, like, is this the right thing to share or not? But it gets easier over time. And also I've got some tips of different things you can do in your workflow to make this easier for you. Does everyone know how to share a post, first of all?
I share the Ulster Country Market. I put up a post, which I told you last week, I put it up on Instagram and it appears automatically on Facebook. Then I go into the Facebook page of Ulster Country Market and I share it. So it goes to all the community groups. I share it to all the individual community groups. Is that the same thing?
That's not the shared thing, but that's a good thing to do, because essentially you're kind of extending the reach of that post by sharing it into groups. So that's one thing that you can do to kind of to get more reach with it. But I'm talking on a very simple level of creating content for your own Facebook page. So you're sharing it from Instagram to your page is essentially you've created that post. That I would consider an original content post, because it's a post that you've created with your own image, your own content. A shared post is essentially when you share somebody else's content, and it's an action that helps your page become part of the conversation on Facebook. You're not just creating your own thing and putting it out there, you're also part of the community. You're sharing other people's posts. It's essentially you are kind of engaging with other accounts, and that helps your page to kind of be more relevant on Facebook. And also it's just something that you can do that will help you to rank better with the algorithm when you post. So
will you physically do one?
Yeah, I'm going to show you. I'll show you now. So how you share a post on Facebook is you find a post that you want to share. So I'm just going to go to the Open Food Network, for example. So you find a post that, is this a useful post? Is this a relevant post for my customers? Ask yourself these questions. And then when you see the post, to share it, you can click on the share button here.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Yep. And then you can share it to your page. So essentially what you're doing is you're finding other people's content. So say I'm on my home page and I see someone, I'm hoping that there's no strange posts on what other people are posting on my home page. Okay, a doggy post, cute. So say I wanted to post that. You click share on a post that you found that someone else has posted. Yeah. And then you've got these options here. So you can choose share now public, which would instantly share it, or you can share it to a newsfeed. That gives you a chance to write a comment. So I'm going to share it to a newsfeed, but you want to do this from as you're interacting with your page. So this is one way to share a post, but I'm going to just show you another way, which is how you can schedule a post. So if we go back to our slides for a second. So has anyone had chance, I've spoken about Facebook Creator Studio before. Has everyone had chance to, has anyone not seen Creator Studio or looked at it?
It's not the same as Business.
It's not the same as Business Suite, but you can interact with it. It looks fairly similar and it's fairly straightforward to use.
It seems to have taken over the Creator thing. The Business Suite one has taken over, as far as I've figured out. It's taken over the Creator Studio.
You can use one or either of them. Okay. So you can still use the Creator Studio if you go to this link. There's a link in the slides, but also if you're on your Facebook page, if I go to Upcycled Mushrooms, for example. Just waiting for it to load. My internet's always a bit slow when I'm doing webinars, sorry. So if I go here, you can also, on your pages, you can also go to Publishing Tools. And this will be on, if you're on your page, you'll see that option on the left-hand menu to go to Publishing Tools. And on here, you can also publish or schedule posts. If you don't want to if you're not sure about using Creator Studio, you can do it here. Let's close this. And so you can go to Publishing Tools straight from your Facebook page, or you can use the Creator Studio. Either way, whichever one you want to use, when you can click on Create a Post. And I just want to show you how to schedule a shared post. So say I want to schedule my shared post here. So when you see a post that someone else has posted that you want to share, do you see the little kind of time link here on the post? Does everyone see what I'm... So you want to right click on this and you should get a drop down. And then from this drop down, you want to click on copy link address. So that copies that link onto your clipboard. Then if you go back to the new post that you're creating, you can then, I prefer to use Creator Studio because you get a preview of what you're doing. So I'm just going to go back to Creator Studio for now, and I'll come back to Publishing Tools and we'll do it there in a second so that we're covering both. So say in Creator Studio, you want to create a post. I'm going to click Create New, Create Post. I'm going to choose when it comes up. Sorry guys, my internet's a bit slow. When it comes up, I'll choose the page that I want to post it on. So say for now we're going upcycled mushrooms. I'll wait for that to load. And then if you right click again and then paste, you're essentially pasting the shared post. Because it's a group, it's not kind of previewing properly because it's a private group, and I can't share the post from the private group. But if it was just a normal post on Facebook, then you'd be able to do that. And essentially it will pull through the post into your preview so you can see what you're posting. I'm going to quickly choose a different one because that's not giving a good example of the post pulling through. So again, I'm going to take this post by my friend Samantha, and you can see here the timestamp. You right click, copy link address, you go back to your wherever you're publishing the post. We're going to Create Studio. So I'm going to get rid of this post and create a new one and do it with upcycle mushrooms again. And then right click, then paste the link. And again, it should, if it's on a Facebook page, I've done it again because I've shared a friend's post. If it's from a Facebook page, it will pull through a preview for you to look at so you can see the post. And then you can write a comment about this post, like found this really interesting, what do you think? Or anything that you might want to, like, I wouldn't overthink a comment, maybe just put, you could even put some emojis, or you could put like, this is really interesting. So anything that, or if it's a supplier post that you want to share from a supplier's page, then you can say, this looks really great, this is available this week, something like that. So you can add your own little comment to the post. I will actually do it again so that we can see. So this is actually good because it's showing what might happen. If you're sharing a post that isn't publicly available on Facebook, so if it's a friend's post and they don't and that post isn't made public, then you won't be able to share it onto your page because it would only be people who are in that group or friends of that person that would be able to see it. So the way to check is that on the post, on the post itself, you can usually see if it's by this little symbol here that it's public, and if it's got that symbol, then you should be able to share it. So we'll try here with this one again, and I guess because we've gone through this so many times, then it's going to be second nature when it happens. So then when you're creating the post, paste the link, and here we go. Finally, we've got the preview. So it will show you what your post is going to look like, and it will pull through the preview. And then you can delete the link. You can highlight it and then delete it to tidy up your post. And you don't even need to keep the link in your post. It will keep because you've already pulled through the preview here, it will still post with that shared post, which means then you can put, say, just going to put hello for now, but you can put your own comment. And then here, where it says publish, if you right click, you can then schedule this shared post. So then this means that you could sit down on a Monday morning and spend half an hour looking for posts that you'd like to share on your Facebook page, and you can schedule them all in advance. So you could pick a day when this is going to go live and then click schedule, and then this will be added to your scheduled posts. So this is a way to schedule your 4 posts for the week in advance. So you're not just scheduling them all at once, you're spreading it out over the 7 days. So you essentially want to post once per day. And this would be how to schedule shared posts.
So in this case, upcycled mushrooms is the same as Ulster Country Market.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I do this little thing that you're doing there, and it appears on Ulster Country Market's Facebook page as a shared post. Yeah. Okay, so well, now I understand. Yes.
when you go to Creator Studio, by being on Facebook and being already being an admin for your country markets page, you will have the option here to post as that page. So it's like you will already have a Creator Studio account. So there's nothing you need to do to get started with this. You can just go straight to Creator Studio and you're already, if you're logged into Facebook, you'll already be logged in. And you can choose here, when you click Create New, Create Post, this is when you instantly get asked to choose where are you posting. So for example, I'm managing 4 pages here. If I'm choosing upcycled mushrooms, I click on upcycled mushrooms. In your case, that would say Ulster Country Markets. And then you'd click and then you'd go through and make the post, and then that would post to your page. The other way to do it is here on the drop down. You can choose the pages you want to view. So if you just wanted to look at things, so here we're looking just for upcycled mushrooms, then unclick the other ones and click view. And then you're navigating Creator Studio just as this page. But if you're just managing one page, that should be fairly straightforward for you, because it will just be Ulster Country Market. And here you can have a look at everything that you've got planned. Also, so this has come up when people are posting that they haven't had a preview come through, and I'm not sure why that happens for some people and not others, but for me it always happens if I use publishing tools. So if I go to the page and click on publishing tools from the right, if I try and create a post through that option, it always, for me, the preview never comes up. So I always prefer to use Create Studio. I'm not sure why that happens. I could maybe find out and I'll post in the event page if I find out anything. I'll do a bit of research.
When you use Creator Studio, can you also include it to post on Instagram? Because that was one you can.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't see that because I quite like Creator Studio.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see how to do that.
Yeah, it's at the top. So it's really, it's this thing that when you see it, it's really intuitive, but before you've seen it, it's hard to find. So on this, this will be everything Facebook. If you click on this icon at the top, it changes everything over to Instagram.
And
so
it will be there then?
Yeah, so you can switch between the two.
Can you do them both together? Sorry,
Rachel.
Can
you do both at once?
That's what I want to know, yeah.
So if you post, do you mean if you created a post on Instagram, if you could set it up to create?
At the same time come out, yeah.
Not sure, actually.
Because that's what you can do with Business Studio.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I'm not sure with Create Studio, and that's also my own way of working, is because I like to do bespoke things for both. So rather than posting across both is a great idea if you're really short of time and you want to just maintain, for example, a presence on Instagram, but you're not kind of like creating, specifically for Instagram. So the way that I work is I normally do that distinctly as a separate thing. But I'm not sure on Create Studio. I'll check on that one and get back on the event page. And if you can, I'll put a step-by-step because it'll be useful to know myself.
That'd be good, yeah.
Thanks.
The other thing is, for me, there's a different audience completely on Instagram to Facebook. So really, and I know we've always done it the same post, but actually we should be doing different things because the audience aren't the same.
Yeah. But also, I think it's with anything social media, it's just really important to work with where you're at. It's much better to, for example, do one platform really well than to try and do everything and get overwhelmed and end up doing like nothing. So if you're say focusing on Facebook more than Instagram, focus on Facebook, and then if you can just kind of like post across to Instagram and just maintain that, then that's okay. And then it's the vice versa as well with Instagram. I think it's just really important to do what is sustainable for you and what you're able to do consistently. So I'm gonna move on just for some tips of how to do shared posts and what can help you with this, because I can appreciate that if you're not really sure where to look for for shared posts, it can feel a bit overwhelming to commit to doing 4 per week. But there's a couple of different ways of doing this. You can bookmark relevant Facebook pages for shared content. So if you find a supplier's Facebook page, for example, or if it's like local, a page that's local to your community, which you think your customers would find interesting. So say if you've got community groups that you think your customers might want to engage with, you could bookmark that page. So essentially it's thinking about not just necessarily what's relevant for you, but what do you think your customers would, what other pages do you think your customers would find interesting or valuable? Or if it's about kind of wider issues around food or farming, you can think of organizations that that talk about talk about things that you as an enterprise also kind of believe in or find important. Like, for example, you could share things from Open Food Network or Lambca's Alliance, and then bookmark those pages. When you're sitting down on a Monday morning to schedule your shared post for the week, you could go straight to the list that you've bookmarked, go straight to those pages, see what they've posted in the last few days, and then schedule those shared posts there. The other thing is you can save posts and create collections. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do this. So if you're on your just general homepage, you've got this kind of menu on the left. If you click see more, you can scroll down and there's an option called saved, and you can click on saved, and I'll show you what it is, but mine's empty because I clear it out. But apart from a walk drive post, I don't know why that's there. And so this is a space on Facebook where essentially you can save posts. So if you're on Facebook personally, just in your general kind of personal day-to-day, and you see things like, oh, this would be good to share on my page, on the page that I'm managing, you can save it in this space. And I'll show you how to do that now. So if we go back to home, and I'm going to scroll down. Okay, so I'm actually going to an upcycled mushroom post, which I find quite funny. Me talking to people, do you like mushrooms? That's very much my partner. So say if I wanted to save this post to share it later, I could click on this, and then it's that simple. Click on the three dots, click save post, and then you can click on it. Say I want to create a new collection. So it's shared posts for, and say it's for like Ulster country markets, for example. I'll put that, I'll create it. It's like a file in my saved items. So now this post is saved here. Sometimes it takes a few seconds to update, but then I go to this left, anytime I'm on Facebook, I go to this left menu. I've got a saved section here. It hasn't turned up yet. This happened to me earlier. Sometimes when you create a new folder, it takes a few minutes to show up, but it will eventually be here for you. You'll have your saved items. You'll have the collection here. You click on it and you'll have a list of everything that you've saved. So then you can do the thing that I mentioned earlier, where you click on the time, copy it, and then put it across into your publisher and schedule those posts. So this is a way as well that you can just start sharing, saving posts. So maybe on a Monday, you spend half an hour just scrolling, save that post, save that post, save that post. And then you do your scheduling afterwards. You go to your save posts, and then you've got all of these posts that you've just saved that you can then straight away schedule and share. So these are just little things that help with maintaining this posting schedule. So if we go back to slides,
I don't know how we've survived without you, Kaylee.
I hope this is okay.
It's amazing. It's like a complete mind-boggling.
This is anything that makes it easier, and I think these are the kind of little things that you can do that just mean that when you sit down on a Monday, I'm going to spend an hour, I'm going to do my 7 posts for the week, and then you've got these actions that you can take that make that as easy as possible, because it can feel like a lot. But once you just get into the rhythm of just having those 7 posts going out every week, you'll start to see those numbers that I showed you earlier that are happening on my partner's Facebook page. It's just a case of getting that consistency. You're consistently posting every day, which you're scheduling, so you don't have to be there every day doing it. You can do it all on a Monday morning. The other thing, I'm just going to talk here about something, it's a sense check when you're sharing someone else's post. You can ask yourself a couple of things. Ask yourself, do you find it entertaining? Is it educational in any way? Does it provoke any emotion from you? And these are just like little questions that help to make sure that you're sharing good content that other people have posted. But again, I wouldn't get stuck to this too much as well. It could also be, is this helping out one of my suppliers? Is this something nice to do for this organization that I like, that we align with as an enterprise? So there's lots of different reasons why you might want to share someone else's post. Remembering every time you share someone else's post, you're really supporting them to get more reach as well. So it's this kind of like positive feedback loop. You're doing like a good thing for this person whose content you're sharing, but also it's like increasing the chance that they might share your content when you post your own original post as well. So it's starting to kind of approach Facebook in more of a kind of community-minded networking way, which has kind of positive impacts for your food enterprise in the end, because you'll get more reach, you'll get better results, and everyone's happy.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
I've been on and off sharing, because of the pandemic and people needing to know important stuff on the day. There's a local independent chemist who they're excellent, and they're asking for help, shall we say. And I sort of would like to be able to share their question, like, is there anybody out there who wants to help us with injections? Or on our surgery also has a pharmacy, but it's the surgery who I wanted to support. Is that going to be okay in terms of your shared posts? I mean, it's helping the community.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't even want to buy our food or our whatever. But
I think that's really good. It's a really good question, and it comes to this kind of final point of using your shared post to support causes you care about as a food enterprise. And I think because the country markets, you're obviously so embedded in the community that it's because what you're doing, it's like it's local. It's, if that is supporting a really good cause in your community, then I think that's a good thing to do. As a marketer, I would think that would be a good thing to do.
It's a public service.
Yeah, and then also,
people look at ours. Whenever I post stuff, I notice that nobody much looks at it until I like it as the market, and then all of a sudden people are liking it. And if we share somebody else's post and then like it or share it, because we've shared it, more people notice it.
Yeah, exactly. So you're helping that cause. Yeah. And then also from a kind of like, again, from a marketing perspective, it's then also like in your, if you know your customers well and you know that that's something that they care about too, it creates that sense of community and loyalty, and you're aligning your enterprise or your country market with this positive cause. So it's a good thing to do, and this is exactly what I'm talking about with shared posts. Shared posts can also be used to help to create the identity or express the identity of your market. What are you about? What do you care about it? And this kind of helps to build a sense of loyalty in your followers as they see what you align with. So, and with this in mind, though, I would be careful about sharing any. It's try and remain on the side of positivity. So it's if someone's having a kind of a rant about something, even if you agree with it from a kind of like on a political level, try and ask yourself, is this promoting kind of positivity or positive action? And it's just having that kind of like lens to just being careful not to share anything that will kind of promote, that could have
no controversial stuff, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
like Greenpeace.
Pardon?
Like Greenpeace, this Greenpeace has got a war on plastic on Facebook or Instagram at the moment, with films of supermarkets with all the vegetables covered in plastic. That's not a good thing to share, you think?
I think it really depends. I mean, this is, again, it really depends on your enterprise, on your brand. So for some brands that might work, and I think it's important not to as a kind of community food enterprise, I think it's important not to ostracize members of your community, but also when there's something where nuance is not covered. It's, for example, with kind of plastic pollution, as food producers, like there's like lots of different levels of nuance around this. Like, for example, will there be lots more food waste if salad doesn't come in? I don't know. I guess that's an individual question, an individual thing per brand to consider. But I also think that it could be something that if there's more than one of you, if you have a team, that you could decide as a team, take some time to sit down and discuss together what kind of topics you want to be vocal about. What would resonate with your customers? What do you know about your customers? What do you think that, because sometimes if you're sharing something where your customers are likely to have an aligned point of view, then it's, that can be a really positive thing, because you start to create this sense of belonging. We have this shared cause, this cause that we share, but you do have to be a bit careful with that. And I can't really give a one size fits all answer on that one, because it's so unique to each enterprise. One thing that you can do that I think is a fairly safe one is anything that's really positive and proactive about promoting local food initiatives, or anything that's kind of promoting more kind of collaboration and a sense of community within your own community. So that's definitely a safe bet. Sorry, my partner's just popping out. The risk of sitting by the front door. Okay, so I'm gonna move on, because I feel like I feel like, maybe timing, I haven't quite timed this very well. So apologies everyone about the going through these quite slow. So I hope that I've kind of covered enough about shared posts for now for you all to feel quite confident about sitting down and just starting shared posts. I think the other thing to consider is that not everyone will see your shared post. Sometimes it might be good to have a bit of a kind of like a journalistic cynicism, not cynicism, I can't think of the right word, but like kind of a journalistic approach to sharing posts and not overthinking it too much. You could start in a really simple space with other organizations in the community that that your customers engage with or like. You could start with your suppliers, maybe start safe and just start sharing like simple shared posts to begin with. Then now I want to move on to the 2 of the 421, and that's that every week, if you can, share 2 of your own original posts per week. So this is a post that isn't sharing something else someone else has done, but this is something that you created yourself. And there's like this is where you can get really creative, and the sky is really the limit on the kind of things that you can do here. So this could be anything from creative branded posts to customer testimonials. It could be supplier stories. It could be your story, as it could be. Here is just really where you can share anything. Again, I always think that it's good to think about the 3 E's while you're creating. Like, does it provoke emotion? Is it educational? That would be your kind of recipes and things like that. Or is it entertaining? Is it funny? Like cute animal pictures, or anything. Here is it's just thinking of those. Is it interesting? Really, essentially, is just this kind of sense check before you post. The other thing is in here, in your original post, you can also use this space to educate about what your key USPs are. So this is where you could talk about perhaps your impact on the community, or what you might be doing differently, or what makes your lovely quiches so much more better than the kind of like the not fresh ones that you get in the supermarket. So this is just a place where you can really talk about what you're doing and why it's great. This is just a reminder when I share the slides of just the 3 points. Is it any of those 3 things? If it's one of them, great, it's good. If it's all 3, then it's amazing. And also when it comes to your own original posts, if you can, rely on your other team members, or rely on your other suppliers, or you can also rely on think of other people, like pull other people in to help you create content. So taking photos, for example. See if you can get everyone involved in creating photos. Just ask other members of the team, or if you have a team, can you yeah, also you can even ask customers as well. It's up to you how confident you feel about that. If you're sharing, if you want to do a post which is like a customer testimonial, if a customer says something really nice to you about what you're doing, ask them, can I quote you on that on my social media? And and then maybe they might send you a post of them enjoying what you've made for them, or it could, yeah. So it's just getting a bit creative and not being afraid to ask other people for help, so you're not creating all of the images yourself. And also, again, asking your team or even family and friends to like and share your post. As you mentioned, Rachel, if you like, yeah, this action of, if someone likes a post, then the algorithm then sees that post as being a valuable piece of content that more people will want to see. So this kind of, the more action that you see on the post, the more likely more people will see the post, which means that it's more likely to get more likes and shares. So it's and then this has like an echo effect as well. If you have a post that does really well and gets lots of likes and shares, then your next post will likely do well as well, because the algorithm then kind of sees your page as producing content of value. So you're more likely to get this kind of positive knock-on effect with posts that follow that. When you're creating your own posts as well, I like to just always remind myself, done is better than perfect. Because sometimes you can sit in front of a post and be like, I need to phrase this perfectly, and it can really slow you down, and it also can make it quite a stressful process to create content when you kind of are second guessing how you phrase things. So it's just kind of, done is better than perfect. Sometimes keep your language simple. Don't you don't have to write really kind of long posts, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's better just to kind of do it and to get your 7 posts done every week than for all of your posts to be perfect. So yeah, I think that's one of the main blocks that I see for people with social media. It's just that overthinking every post and needing it to be perfect and being afraid of posting. It's better to do it and to just do it and let go and let it go than to that. Yeah, I know that's sometimes easier said than done, but I promise that it gets better over time. If you commit to posting 7 times a week, no matter what, and the first week you do it, it might take you a couple of hours, and then the next week it will take you an hour and a half, and then the next week you might be able to just do them in an hour. And it's just this, the more you do it, the easier it gets, and that's something I see time and time and time again.
Sorry, Kay, just quickly. So what you're saying is that content is not as important as the regularity of the posting.
Definitely.
Okay.
It's showing up, and also your content will naturally get better as well. So it's not overthinking it. It's much more important to be consistent, not only with your results with the algorithm, but also with your community as well. Consistency is a natural. It naturally breeds trust. It's you're showing up in the space. People start to recognize you more. People start to see, it's just that it does have a much stronger effect to keep that consistency than to have like one very awesome, perfect post once a week.
And what do you say about time of posting?
That again, it's completely different. But you can look on Insights to check that what works well for you. As a general rule of thumb, I say any time between 4 and 6 tends to be okay for most businesses. So you could start there and test. I would test that. So you could try posting 1 week. You could post at different times on every day, and then you can look at your insights to see what's worked well for you. And I'll maybe talk more about insights at another time, because it would also be good to then look at when you have your best posts, make sure that your ask post is always on your kind of most, your most successful posting time. But
thank you. Okay.
Everyone can find insights. If we've got time at the end, I might show you, but I think we're running out of time. It's so create time-saving habits. I just want to quickly say here, and then we'll wrap up shortly, but check out Louise's Monday social prompts in our Facebook group. This might be a nice place to get started when you're looking for shared posts for the week. So you can, because Louise every Monday, she does a really nice post in the Facebook group, which summarizes everything that's going on for the like interesting things to post about that week. So it could be, you know, for example, if you're thinking of your original content post and you don't know what to write about, there might be a prompt in there that will help you. Like, for example, if it's like National Bread Day or something. So I'd always check those out on a Monday because they're really great and they're a really valuable resource. On that note, it would be really great as well if anyone has seen these posts, if you've got any feedback on them, that would be really useful for us as well. Has everyone seen these posts that Louise posts on a Monday in the Facebook group?
Not yet.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? I've got a whole load of questions that I'd like to ask. Can we send them to you or to somebody? Where do we send them? Relevant to this?
Yeah, you're part of the Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
So on the Facebook group, please, again, feel totally free to post in the Facebook group. It's absolutely fine. It's a really lovely space. But if you've got any questions, you could post it onto the discussion board on the Facebook group, which I'll definitely see and I'll make sure to respond to. If you don't like posting in such a kind of might feel like a bigger space, you can go into the event page for this event and just post in the discussion in the event page. And then it's like also then in this space that we're already talking about, and I'll make sure to get to your questions. I kind of feel again that this is quite a kind of big topic and I thought we'd get through a lot more today. It's 1:30, so I just want to very quickly talk about the Ask post. I've got some links here. I'll share the slides after so you can check out some of the other things I was going to show you. But then this is one of the most important parts of the 421. And that's the Ask post. That's the post where you ask people to shop with you. That's the post where you ask people to sign up to your mailing list. That's the post where you ask people to go to your shop front on the Open Food Network. So this is so for every 4 shared posts, 2 original content posts, you get 1 post, which essentially is growing from this soil that you've created with these other posts that you've done that week. And the Ask post is where you're asking your customers to take an action that you want them to take. So I kind of feel like the most important post came last. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, would we be, well, your 421 is clearly really great and successful, but what happens if sometimes it's 422? Because I want to be able to ask people to, I want to tell people that the hub is open and ask them to order, and then I want to tell them that it's about to shut, and so make sure you get your orders in. But would I be penalized for that then?
Not penalized, and again, this is a guide, and it's a set. Okay, so the shared post and the original content post just give you the best chance for your Ask post to be seen by as many people as possible. So it's not that you'll be penalized, it's just that if you, I would say being really strict about this, that if you wanted to do 2 Ask posts, then you just have to do the modular approach of doing 8 shared posts, 4 original content, and then 2 Ask posts. But that's too much. And again, this is totally flexible to what works for you. If you do 2 Ask posts, you won't get penalized. It's just and I guess it'd be around the timing. You wouldn't want to do them maybe one after the other. So if you were going to do that order cycle opening, make sure to maybe do 2 shared posts or a shared post in between, or make sure that you're posting not Ask posts in between, and then do your second Ask post. So it's just the main thing that this strategy is created to do is to stop this kind of, a lot of people approach Facebook as just a broadcasting tool. So every post is an Ask post essentially, or every post is a, and that doesn't really give you the best results. You will still be seen by some people, but you won't get as good reach. So this is just a system that helps you to get this kind of consistent increase in the amount of people that are seeing your posts and interactions with your posts. So that's not that it will necessarily penalize you. And I think if you want to do that, I think that's definitely fine. It's just be mindful not to do it just ask.
Rachel, couldn't you do a post? Couldn't you do a post, one post, but where you say, guys, the order cycle is closing in 24 hours. The next order cycle opens on Wednesday or whatever. And then you could put the whole thing in one, or does that not work for you?
I think it would probably be better to just do 2 separate posts in that case. And it's also, again, you're using Facebook essentially to communicate with your customers things that are useful for them. And when you're helping people to not miss the order cycle, see that as a kind of, it's like almost like an offering, you're helping them not to miss out. So I feel like that's quite a soft ask. It's not exactly as if that ask is like a shop now direct kind of, you know, that's quite a softer kind of ask. So, I mean, the main thing I would also think about with that is just make sure that in your ask post only ever include one link, so that it's really clear for customers to know what to do. And in those 2 ask posts, yeah. So I would keep them separate, keep it really
what we have, well, I've been trying to post every day for like lots of years. And when it's nearly the end of it's the end of the cycle, I was just, all right, at the end of the cycle, and then there's the 2 days or whatever where we're closed, the ordering thing is closed. Can we not just say, look on our Facebook page, and there it's Facebook to find out the timings of, you know, reminders or whatever, or do you have to actually, I mean, this is like putting a link to Open Food Network, and it isn't Facebook's, unless, is there a Facebook page for Open Food Network? There isn't.
No.
Okay.
So I think with the ask post, you definitely want to do the most important action, which would be having a link to your shop page. And there is an Open Food Network page, but it's not like
you don't order through it. Yeah.
No. So it's so you really want to be directing people to your to your shop front on your ask post. Or Susie, I just saw you waving. Is everything?
Yes, I think we need to make a decision, and Rachel needs to. We need to have a conversation about where are we directing folks, to the shop or to the market? Because the online is not doing anything for us at the moment, so we need to be thinking about the shop. And the shop's back open again, you know, the market's back open again. We need to be focusing people's attention there rather than on the online. Yeah. So but we need to have that conversation.
And you could also do, I mean, in that case, that's because the physical location isn't a link, then you could put that in the post. You could put the ask being, go here to order online or visit us in person, because as long as you're having one link in the post and you're not kind of directing people into too many different directions, that's okay. So that could be both, like visit us in person, or if you prefer, and there's the link.
That's what I've tried to do. I've said, you know, we're open on 9:30 to 12:30 on Friday mornings, but if you can't make it in person, here's how to order.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's good. That's okay. Yeah, definitely.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then that's the ask post. So that's essentially all the work that you've done the rest of the week. The 4 and the 2 are all helping to kind of prop up that final ask post, which is asking people to come to the shop or to order, because essentially it's just trying to make that when you do that one post, as many people see that post as possible. So it's not that you post that post and then 2 people see it, because so that's what the rest of the work is for, as well as also building the relationship with your customers or your followers on Facebook, because that regularity of seeing you online, it's if more people are seeing you, it starts to build familiarity and trust. Has anyone else got any questions? I'm sorry we've overrun. I kind of feel like I was assuming that this would probably take me less time to get to. I might have been waffling, so I hope.
Could you do the same for Instagram?
Yeah.
That would be very good, because I tried, after our chat last week, I tried so hard to repost on Instagram, you know, well, I was trying to do this Greenpeace one, which Louise said they wouldn't let me do because it's like an advert.
Yeah.
But, I was trying to do what you suggested, the 421.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't discover how to repost or
Yeah.
how to share a post. So I think we need a session on Instagram because it's different really, and the things the algorithm will be different, won't it?
Yeah, we'll definitely do it. We'll do a session on Instagram. I think it sounds like, I think in the last session that I did, I just kind of skimmed the surface of loads of things, and I feel like it might have been more confusing than helpful. So we'll do.
No, it was wonderful. Don't do that, Kaylee. It's great.
Well, thanks. But we'll do like a specific Instagram one, and it'll be just going right from the basics and step by step how to actually do the things like we've done today.